Good morning. It's September 17, 2024. We're critiquing the news, and the article on your screen from the Cairns Post is titled "Revenge Travel Starts to Take Off." Now, Australians seem to be shaking off the doom-soaked mind control brainwashing of the globalist global pandemic psychological operation and are catching up on the overseas trips they missed out on due to the bizarre and unwarranted restrictions on travel imposed by our tyrannical globalist controlled governments. So the academics at the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology have coined a new term to describe this increase in overseas trips: revenge travelling. And the more people wake up that they were subjected to a psyop by governments that they believed worked for them but who were actually working for unelected foreign billionaires, the more they're going to be seeking revenge every way they can. Now, the article has some good information in it for people who are planning an overseas trip. It talks about travel hacking, which is where you make the most of your frequent flyer points by point stacking, looking for points bonuses, redeeming them smartly, and this was interesting. Consumers should also clear their browser cookie history so travel sites do not increase fares the more you go to check on prices. And in particular, never book 12 months ahead, because that's when the most expensive fares are made available. So, what we were told by the woke pseudoscientific left during the pandemic, in fact what they gloated about, was that global carbon dioxide emissions would drop dramatically due to the pandemic psyops, dramatic curtailment of the free movement of the free citizens of this world. But if you go to the plots of the longest continuous atmospheric carbon dioxide record taken at Mauna Loa Observatory, Hawaii, by the Scripps Institute of Oceanography's Scripps CO2 program, you'll see it had absolutely no effect whatsoever. So this is 2020, and it shows that we have the exact same steadily rising sawtooth pattern, repeated pretty much since 1960 with only the most minor deviations. And that sawtooth pattern represents the effect of summer and winter and the different amounts of solar insolation on the seas surrounding the observatory. So CO2 increases steadily in that manner because the world's 1.35 billion cubic kilometres of seawater are still steadily warming up from the last ice age. And Henry's law describes a process by which warming water outgasses CO2, which is what the Scripps chart is tracking, because humanity's emissions of CO2 are too insignificant to show up. At best, they're 3% of that total. And of that 3%, the vast majority comes from India and China, who are exempt from the globalist CO2 limits. Nonetheless, the lying anti-humanist foreign billionaires will tell our Labor Liberal Uni Party to continue attacking our food supplies, our energy supplies, our industries, our supply chains, and our personal freedom on the basis of their entirely fake science, and to keep pumping out the misinformation and disinformation about CO2 warming on an industrial scale because their global control agenda depends on them doing so. So if you can afford to do so in the current inflationary environment contrived artificially by the Labor Liberal Uni Party on behalf of their globalist masters banking sector, book yourself a flight somewhere and produce some CO2 for the plants to eat, because the only effect of CO2 is to enrich Earth's biosphere.